Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, everybody? This is BeatStreet Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host, Lee, a.k.a. the Hoops Guru. And the beat comes in. This is the post All-Star Game show. I'm going to talk about a few things that transpired this weekend just past as far as the All-Star games are concerned. MKA is MIA today, so I'll be flying solo. But after we talk about the All-Star weekend, I'd also like to talk about NBA trade rumors that are going on. The NBA trade deadline is actually this Thursday, I believe. So between now and then, hopefully we'll see a little trades or hear about some trades. I always like this time of year because teams are gearing up for the home stretch and contenders are looking for that extra little piece that's going to push them hopefully over the hump or get them, or a team that may be an 8th or 9th seed right now and maybe catapult them to like a 4th or 5th seed. Sometimes just that one little transaction can do that. I know there's players out there like Paul Gasol who can definitely change the team around. I know a lot of people out there may have think he's lost his game, but I'm sure you put Paul Gasol on the right team, he'll definitely prove dividends for that particular team. I could see a team like the Washington Wizards upgrading from somebody like Marcin Gortat and Paul Gasol just, wreaking havoc as that low post scorer that they really don't have with consistency. The he's often injured, but it seems to me he fades during the stretch. It seems like Gasol is definitely a threat facing up or it's back to the basket. That's the type of player any team would love to have. But I'm going to throw out a lot of different things. If you'd like to add to the banter, you can always give us a call at 347-945-6921. All-Star Weekend got a lot of mixed reviews from the public. There's some folks that said it was a bad weekend. Some people would just say get rid of the slam dunk contest altogether. There's a lot of different things I think the NBA could have done. I've seen better All-Star weekends. One, I just think the entertainment portion was over the top. I mean, they have like an hour-long concert starting from 8 o'clock, I believe, to a little after 9 o'clock before the game actually tipped off was way too long. I mean, especially for us, the people on the East Coast, especially if you want to capture a younger audience. Kids that are like 9, 10, or 11, a game starting out at 9 o'clock is really late if you want to watch the whole game because it's not going to end until probably like 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday, which leaves, luckily it was a President's Day after that, so hopefully most of the kids were off. But still, it's just too late to have a game start on a Sunday night. They should have maybe did 2 or 3 songs and introduced the players and got onto it. Even during the All-Star Saturday night, I believe they had a concert and just a lot of top things that to me distracted from the actual events that people really tuned in for. And speaking of the events of All-Star Saturday night, I think they were okay overall. Some of the twists were weird. I know with the skills challenge, they did the pairs thing and teams won its group. I thought that was kind of corny. I still think these guys want to compete as individuals. And so I think you always want to see, Damian Lillard go head-to-head with Trey Burke or whatever the case may be. These guys want to get individual accolades. That was the whole point of us inviting them because, inviting them to this so they can kind of catapult their image, marketing ideas and all those different things come across with being successful this weekend. So I think the format kind of distracted from that. The three-point shootout was fine. It was a good competition. Marco Bellinelli beat out Bradley Beal. They actually went to overtime. So that's the one competition I think that's always going to be fine because shooting is shooting, and good shooting is almost impressive. I think they added a little caveat this year with the money balls. I think the players were allowed to place them strategically on the rack so you kind of know where their strengths were. That way if they, are shooting according to their strengths, they can kind of catapult their score a little bit by doing that. I think that was a pretty good tweak to it. I didn't see it disrupted or distracted from the event at all. And then we have the slam dunk contest. Now, I'm different than most people on this one because a lot of people just thought it was a horrendous event. I don't think it was horrendous at all. I actually liked the freestyle portion of it. I thought that was pretty cool. But instead of doing East and West, I just think they should let all the guys just freestyle and warm up. Don't even grade on anything, but just watch guys kind of get loose a little bit. And the head-to-head, that was pretty cool, too. I like going against each other, but I think maybe they should let guys go against each other for maybe like 1 or 2 rounds. And then, even though the way they did it, the 3 East Coast guys won, they still should allow those guys to have another round of dunks. I would have loved to see Terrence Ross, Paul George, and John Wall go one more time to see what else they might have had in their bag of tricks, or maybe even 2 more rounds, see who wins the best out of 3. But John Wall, I guess he winds up being the winner overall. I have no complaints about that because, one, I like the Washington Wizards, and he's the only person that actually executed his dunk on the first attempt. I think that's huge. You know, even like Terrence Ross, he had a good dunk where Drake was holding it, and he caught it, went between the legs, and dunked it. But when you have to do it 3-4 times, it kind of takes away from the anticipation of what's actually transpiring. When you actually know, okay, I know what the guy's got to do now, and now you're like, oh, wow, he made it. But it takes away from that. So I think I don't think the slam dunk contest would be that bad. I just think they need to keep the format but add an extra round. I think it'll be okay. I just think most people are like, well, that's it. And stop with the fan voting, too. I just think that's ridiculous, too. I know, Sprite and all these corporations, they want to collect our data and get our email addresses, our phone numbers for marketing and all these different types of things. But, there's Dr. J, Magic Johnson, Dominique, those guys are on the sides for the reason. If you want to, put more than 3 judges, put 5 judges. But do something where it's in the hands of guys that, are making sound decisions and keep the idiotic fans out of it. Sorry to say fans are idiotic because, hopefully I have fans listening to this show here. But fans oftentimes get it wrong. And one way they got it wrong was Kyrie Irving making the All-Star game. And the ironicness of that is, if ironicness is a word, the irony of the whole situation is that Kyrie Irving was the MVP of the All-Star game. So it's wild that a guy won the MVP who I think, and I hope some people agree with me, shouldn't have been there at all this year. Yes, he was voted in by the fans, but I think even on the court, he would tell you he's having a very lackluster year. And with the record of the Cleveland Cavaliers, he did not have anything that demonstrated that he should have been an all-star this year. No, but nonetheless, the fans voted him in, so there you have it. He is an all-star. And my hat's off to Kyrie Irving. He executed very well. I forget his stats. I believe he was 14 for 17 from the field, 31 points, 14 assists. You can't knock that. You can't knock that at all. In the East, they 3-game losing streak in the All-Star to the West. I think Carmelo Anthony should have got a lot more recognition for the All-Star as well. I mean, he set a record for 3 8-pointers for the All-Star game, and the last one he hit was critical. That was the one that actually gave them a 4-point lead after they were down 17 and made it real difficult for the West to come back. After that, the West kind of was regulated, shooting long shots that they missed, and the East took control. And also, again, I have to give credit to John Wall. John Wall kind of came in at the third quarter and set the tone, playing defense and gearing his teammates up, and that was what catapulted them to making that run. And remember, John Wall was actually in there with Kyrie Irving for a good stretch until they took him out and put in Joakim Noah, because Dwayne Wade, even though he started, he only played a few minutes in the game. And I kind of like that lineup. Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, and Noah. And it shows a few things, too. It shows, hey, Kyrie Irving is a good player. I mean, I'm never doubting that anyway, but just seeing him with some of that talent on the court was nice to see. It was good to see LeBron actually playing off the ball and being able to run the court and be the recipient of good passes as opposed to always being a playmaker like he is in Miami. And, for fans of Cleveland, I know that makes your heart skip a beat a little bit, like, oh, wow, if LeBron would ever come back to Cleveland with this Kyrie Irving kid, we might have something pretty good going on. And I would have to agree with you. I think if LeBron did go to Miami, him and Kyrie Irving would be a nice duo. The kid Anthony Bennett is not a wash, so please, Cleveland fans, don't think that he's not the Wizards are stuck with Otto Porter. I think Anthony Bennett's going to round this up and have a pretty good career. So just be patient with the young guy. You know, the problem is with these kids coming into the league so young, they don't understand professionalism, and I think he's getting a crash course. You're not just going to make it on talent alone. You know, you're going to have to get a nutritionist. You're going to have to work out. You're going to have to watch what you eat. You know, you're going to have to work on your game. You're going to have to find your niche and just get a real understanding of what professional basketball all entails. And I think he's making that that transition now. Hello, caller. This is BeatStreet Sports Talk Radio.
Yeah, Hoops Guru.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, I'm a Boston Celtics fan, but what's really irritating me are all these false trade deadline rumors. A lot of these guys, you know, the big names like Chris Broussard, these guys from ESPN, the bloggers, you know, it's to the point now people are making up these rumors just because they want to put news there to gain viewership or whatever. And, you know, if you go over the last 5 years, maybe about 2% of these rumors actually come to fruition with these trades. I just think people, you know, in the industry are getting more irresponsible, you know, saying these trade rumors are, you know, coming from the teams when actually, you know, it's just someone, you know, sitting behind a computer that's bored.
What trade rumors have you heard from Boston that were irritating? I know there's a lot of stuff throwing out Rajon Rondo's name.
That's the thing is the last 3 years it's always Rondo, you know, the Knicks, you know, Toronto, Houston, you know, Lynn and Asic for Rondo, you know, Sacramento. It's just ridiculous, you know, these rumors that are out there. And the problem is, you know, everyone thought here, you know, Bast was going to go, Humphries was going to go, Jeff Green was going to go. There's less than 2 days left. 2 days left. I got the feeling they're all going to be there.
Well, you know, Boston's definitely not going to let go of Rondo for anything cheap. We know that for sure. And a lot of things we have to realize, too, is that a lot of these organizations are actually out there sending out this information because they want to test things or try to see if there's any gravity from the media, like see if ESPN jumps on it and makes it a story to see if, you know, the critique that Boston may bite on it or see if it's accepted by the public. So you got to watch teams that are putting out this information as well. But Boston, I've heard a lot. I've heard a lot of things going on with Boston. I know that they're saying that there was a. Tell me if you said you're a Boston fan, correct?
Yes, sir.
There is a trade rumor that Boston was send Rajon Rondo to Sacramento for Isaiah Thomas, Ben McLemore, and 2 draft picks. As a Boston fan, would you accept that trade?
Well, I tell you what, the 2 draft picks, it better be Sacramento's first-round pick this year in the draft, which isn't guaranteed, you know, to be in the top, you know, 4, which are really the game-changing players. McLemore, what has he done? I mean, he's never done anything, you know, and Thomas seems like he puts up some big numbers, but he's putting big numbers on a bad team, so, you know, it's kind of like someone has to get the points anyway. You know, but here's the thing, as a Celtics fan, if Rondo's not going to sign next year, and Ainge knows that, then, you know, he almost has to get something for him. So we to not know what's going on behind the scenes with Rondo and Ainge, if Rondo says I'm not going to sign the contract, then you know I guess you have to get something for him. But you know, but what I would want is definitely you know 2 first-round picks, you know unprotected, you know, so you know you get as high as you get because 2 picks, you know, from 10 to 20 don't mean anything to me.
Nah, well, this is a pretty deep draft, and, hey, you got to look at the San Antonio Spurs. They seem to always find a diamond in the rough that late in the round. Tim Hardaway Jr. went, I believe, 20 or 21 last year as well. So there's definitely talent there, and you don't want Rondo to walk away for free. There's another rumor out there that Boston's looking at Gordon Hayward from the Utah Jazz. I'm sure you wouldn't mind him in a Boston uniform.
I tell you what, I wouldn't mind him, but I don't want to pay him a max contract. See, that's the problem here, Hoops Guru, is there's really two people in the NBA that deserve a max contract, LeBron James and Kevin Durant. When you start giving these max contracts to the Kevin Loves and the Haywards, then you get yourself in trouble a couple of years down the line when you realize that they're not the type of player, that can single-handedly, put you in contention.
Right.
You see where I'm coming from. These contracts that are given out, just handcuff these teams for years. Like Kevin Love, everyone's saying, Kevin Love is a max contract. The Lakers are going to give him a max contract. His defense is terrible. He puts up big numbers, points, and rebounds. But if he was that good, wouldn't his team be over 500? Because it's not like he has a terrible team in Minnesota. They got Pekovic at center. Rubio.
He's out right now, though.
Yeah, but I mean, even before that, it's not like Minnesota was, doing great. If Kevin Love was that good of a player, a max contract player like LeBron, Durant, wouldn't his team be over 500? Couldn't he at least do that?
It's hard for me to bash on Minnesota because, like, Ricky Rubio's not performing this year like he did last year when last year Kevin Love got hurt. And they are in the West. The West, like if I pull up their record, I'm sure right now if they were an East Coast team, they would be in the mix for the playoffs. But it's so difficult out in the West. I believe they've been close a few times, and I do like their roster. Like you said, they have Pekovic, they have Kevin Love, they have Rubio, but Kevin Martin was a good addition as well. So maybe they should be better than their record says, and that's true. But if you pair Kevin Love with the right situation, I think that guy would catapult a team up very high.
Speaking of the West, I see a problem for Oklahoma City coming here because Golden State's the 8th seed now. And in my opinion, Golden State, they've been underachieving a little bit. I have the feeling when the playoffs come around, they're a better playoff team than they are a regular season team. We saw it last year. If Curry and his ankle, they probably beat the Spurs. So I think the Oklahoma City, the last thing they want to see is a 1-8 matchup going in the playoffs with Golden State. You see where I'm coming from?
Oh, yeah. We've seen a spoiler before. I mean, actually Golden State, they're 9 games above 500, so they're definitely not a bad team. If they're in the East, then it's like a third seed. But I think they just need to work out a little bit bugs. I think they don't know what to do with Harrison Barnes. Andre Bogut's been out of the lineup for a little while, and Andre Iguodala has been kind of up and down this year. But Mark Jackson's a strong coach, and I think he can get them refocused. I tell you another team, Phoenix. I wouldn't want to play Phoenix in the first round either. A young, aggressive squad with a lot of talent that's, this was supposed to be a tank year for them. Yeah. So, and they have 4 draft picks.
Yeah, that's the thing is you would think that they would make a move here at the trade deadline, with those 4 draft picks because, like you said, it was supposed to be a tank year. But their problem is going to be Bledsoe. I think he's a restricted free agent, so they can match any offer in the offseason. But I think, some team's going to come with a big offer for him, and then they're stuck between, him and Dragic. What do they do? You know what I mean?
Bledsoe's been hurt for a while. And
that's
Dragic,
true.
To me, honestly, I would have given Dragic Kobe Bryant's spot in the All-Star game this year. That's how good I think Dragic's playing this year. So, I mean, if you can get another piece, a good piece for Eric Bledsoe, go ahead and do it. I mean, that team, Jeff Hornacek has those guys playing very well together. I really like, and there's not any real superstars on that roster. They're really playing team ball. So,
the funny thing about Phoenix, Gerald Green, Celtics are the team that drafted him. And he you know, he was young, and I don't know if he's a little immature, but, you know, I kind of thought he was falling off the face of the map in the NBA. But, you know, he's really surprised everyone and is a legitimate player now, putting up big numbers on a, you know, winning team out west. I think
he was one of the last. He was one of the last out of high school players, I believe, when he got to Boston, and yeah, he was just raw athleticism. He was actually out of the league for a year or so, I believe, until he caught back on with Indiana, and then he was a part of that trade that's in the Phoenix. But yeah, he's a bona fide basketball player now, man. I mean, I'm happy for him because he almost lost everything, you know.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but hey, what's your name?
Mike from Pittsburgh.
Mike, I really appreciate the call, man. We'll have a lot more of these shows. If there's any subjects you'd like to touch on, feel free to do so.
Well, just a final thought before I go. I am here in Pennsylvania, a Celtics fan, and I'm absolutely disgusted what the Sixers are doing. Hoops Guru, I've never seen a team try to lose like I've seen the Sixers this year. And I'm not saying, you know, purposely the players, you know, throwing the ball away to lose a game, but just the management pretty much setting the tone that they want to lose. And I think that just carries over to the players, the coaches, and it's taken advantage of this system this year. And you almost can't blame them because the draft's going to be real good. But it's the closest thing that I've seen is blatantly cheating to lose games what the Sixers are doing. I mean, last week didn't they lose 2 games in a row by over 40 points?
Right. You know, as fans, though, we're the ones that have to make them pay. You know, people need to stop showing up to the arena for those games and hopefully the management will feel it in their pocket. But I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. I mean, you drafted the kid Michael Carter-Wilson. You have I can't even pronounce his name. Noel's from Kentucky.
Yeah.
He's going to be basically that's going to be like a free draft pick next year when he's available. You have Thaddeus Young. You have a good team. To me, I don't see why, especially as bad as the East is, I don't see why you wouldn't, do what Phoenix did. You know what? We do have talent. Let's go for it and see what happens. Because there's no guarantee you're going to get a top 3 pick anyway. Well,
yeah, but they're really going hard after Andrew Wiggins. They don't want Embiid. Well, I mean, they would take Embiid, but they got Noel. He's kind of the big man, so they're looking more as, you know, the wing player to replace, you know, Turner.
Right.
You know, either Jabari Parker or Wiggins. And then they also have, I believe, the Pelicans' first-round pick. It's protected, but it could end up being like, you know, somewhere around 10. So they get things fall right. I mean, they could get, you know, Wiggins, Parker, and then someone at 10, you know, that's really good too. And then, you know, 2 years down the line, you have, you know, Michael Carter-Williams, Noel. You know, you still got Thaddeus Young with 2 of these guys coming out this year. They could be a power here in 3 years.
Well, I mean, if they get that kid Jabari Parker, man, because I think he's going to be something special in this league. You get him with the Michael Carter-Wilson, and because I think Noel's going to be a stud too. I don't know if he's going to be good as Anthony Davis, but people really forget how this kid's 7 feet. He runs the floor very well and a great shot blocker. So if he can and gets a little bit of offense in his game, he's going to be a steal. I wish the Wizards would have got him because Otto Porter's not doing anything. So you could have just had this kid on the bench, and that's like a free draft pick for next year, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, I'll let you go. I was going to say, I'll let you go here. I see you got 5 minutes left, so I'll let you wrap everything up. But it was good talking to you. Have a good week, sir.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate the call. Thanks for the support.
You bet.
Yeah, yo, we were talking, got off on the that was a good call right there. And yeah, like as a Wizards fan, Noel, I think he would have been a great pick for the Wizards to keep when they had that opportunity. You're talking about because Otto Porter, the 3rd pick of the draft, is not playing at all. He's behind Trevor Ariza, and he's behind Martell Webster, and he looks nervous and uncomfortable on the court. So, you know, a top 3 pick should have some type of impact on your team, you know, a la John Wall and Bradley Beal. But imagine if they just said, okay, we're going to have this kid let him rehab for a year, work on his body, let him practice against Nene and Gortat and those guys. And this kid's going to be ready next year, man. And, we're talking about Jabari Parker, Randall, Wiggins, and all these guys. Noah's Noel can wind up being the Rookie of the Year next year. That's how high the bar was for him, but how quickly we forget a talent like his. So it's going to be very interesting. And like the caller said, there's a lot of trade rumors going out there. I love this stuff. Well, let's see what actually transpires. Let's see who's really going to have the guts to pull the trigger. I know the New York Knicks are desperately looking for a point guard. Will they get it? I don't. Who knows? But they need it because Felton and Prigioni just aren't doing the job. Are the Knicks going to be willing to let go of Iman Shumpert or let go of Tim Hardaway Jr.? A lot of teams are requesting to have Tim Hardaway Jr. involved in any trades with the Knicks. I'm sure what he did this weekend in the Rookie Challenge game or the Rising Stars game is only going to help his trade value for the Knicks. And are they willing to go in and get rid of young draft talent in an effort to make the playoffs this year? It seems like that's a problem the Knicks have a lot. They're always trading away draft picks for somebody else's green grass, and it hasn't came to fruition for them at all, really. So a part of me thinks they do need to make a minor deal or something to get a steady point guard to right that ship. Hey, the Lakers are loaded. Go after Steve Blake or Jordan Farmar or somebody like that, but don't go after anybody I think that's going to mortgage the roster, unless you can maybe get rid of Tyson Chandler as a part of the package to land somebody like a Rondo or I don't even know if he's worth Kyle Lowry or Jeff Teague or any of these guys. Maybe you could dangle Tyson Chandler for Russell Westbrook. Hey, I know it sounds crazy, but Reggie Jackson's holding the fort well, and it looks like Kevin Durant, being the big banana, is working pretty well without Russell Westbrook. So if you have a defensive presence behind him with like Tyson Chandler, would you be willing to get rid of an injured Russell Westbrook? Crazier things have happened, but that's why we like this time of year, because it allows our minds to wander and really let us see what actually is going to transpire. You know what, y'all? I've ran my mouth enough. It's been a good show. I'll be back with you later on this week. Still want to talk trade? This is BeatStreet Sports Talk Radio.
Still blurry, the switch frame, clowning these flames. You Bill Murray and quick change. Control your mission, keep up with my pole position. Bragging about the rise that you whip and your soul is missing. Racing to your death to the holiest celebration. God bless a lady of holy acceleration, cause we speeding when we drive on this highway of information. The devil try to deny us the highest of elevation. They keep us at sea level, so I'm staying on my A game. They local like the C when I express, like the A train. My air like tick for the right. Used to maintain, we be like a see alike, cause we got the same brain. We in the same chain, work in the same fields. Now we independent, you can keep your fucking lame deal. Total package, the flow is mastered. I'm blowing past the procrastinators so fast, like they're going back. Boys wanna holler at birds like Alfred Hitchcock. Men wanna talk to the women. We ain't screaming, just whisper in the ear.